So one of the things that you need to be able to calculate is the magnification of an image. So here I've drawn my E. coli and I've also drawn my animal cell. You should have the drawings that you've made as well. And we're going to practice calculating magnification of these images using some data I got from that interactive that you guys worked with earlier this week. So first let's talk about what magnification is and how to calculate it and all of that good stuff. So magnification is going to be equal to image over actual. Basically what we're saying is how much bigger or smaller than the actual thing is the picture I'm seeing. So E. coli is definitely not this big. And so I want to know how much bigger is this picture of E. coli than the actual E. coli. And so that's what your magnification calculation is all about. A couple of conversions we probably want to keep in mind: millimeters to micrometers or millimeters to nanometers. Anytime you're doing these calculations, you want to make sure that your units are all going to be in the same unit. So for those of you who may be math challenged like myself, I don't know why rearranging fractions sometimes can be challenging, but you know what? I'm just gonna take it. I always remember the I am triangle. So magnification is image over actual, but if I had the let's say I had the image, or I wanted to solve for image, I would just cover this and you can cover this and it's actual times magnification. If I knew magnification and I wanted to know the actual, it would just be image over magnification. So it's just like a little trick that you can use to rearrange that equation, and it sometimes will help you remember the formula. Alright, so let's talk about how to actually figure these things out. I have my image. I looked up the actual for E. coli. So the actual measurement for an E. coli is approximately 3 by 0.6 micrometers. Now, I'm going to say that 3 is going to be this one right here, the length or height. So that means that the actual value is going to be 3 micrometers. I want to know the magnification of my drawing. So that's what I'm trying to solve for. So what I need to figure out is what is the image. Well, in order to figure out the image, I am going to use my handy dandy ruler. I'm going to use the metric side. Now, this ruler, you'll notice, says millimeters. This is not a millimeter. This one is a centimeter. The little lines are the millimeters. I don't know why some rulers do it that way. Some will say centimeter, some will say millimeter. Just know that a millimeter is that little tiny unit. It's not the big one. All right, so I'm going to measure from the very top to the very bottom, and by random chance, I get 5.5 centimeters, which would be 55 millimeters. So, now I'm going to plug all of this in. So magnification is going to be equal to image over actual. Well, my image is 55 millimeters. My actual is 3 micrometers. Now, before I do any calculations, I need to get these into the same unit. And it doesn't matter which one goes which way. They just both have to be the same. So for this one, I'm going to convert my micrometers to millimeters. So there are 1,000 micrometers in 1 millimeter. So if I'm going from micro to milli, that number should be smaller, right? Because the unit is bigger, so the number should be smaller. That's kind of how I remember it. And that means I need to move it 10, 100, 1,000. So that would be 55 millimeters divided by 0.003 millimeters. Again, does that make sense? Yes. And now I'm going to use my calculator. So 55 divided by 0.003 gives me 18,333.333. So 18,333 x, or magnification. If I want to be better about sig figs, I would look at my values and I'd say, okay, this one only has 1 significant digit, so my measurement should only be to 1 sig fig. So I would round this to 20,000 x, or magnification. So I'm going to do just a couple of more. You are going to do the same thing with your images. So if you get stuck, you can always come back and take a look at what we're doing here and try to do it with the images that you drew. So again, I have my worksheet. First, we're going to look at this, what I'm calling a skin cell. And so if we assume that the actual value is 30 micrometers, so I want to know the magnification. And my actual is 30 micrometers. Then I have to measure the image. So let's see. We're going to say that is 93 millimeters. So let's convert the millimeters to micrometers this time. So millimeters to micrometers, I'm going from a larger to a smaller unit, so I should make my number bigger to kind of balance that. So there's 1,000 micrometers in a millimeter, so I'm going to move the decimal 3 places, 1, 2, 3, so that would be 93000 micrometers divided by 30 micrometers. So let's say 93000 divided by 30. And that gives me a magnification of 3100x. And if I assume that both of these are significant, then I could leave it like this. If I assume that only that 3 was measured, then that would be rounded to 3000x. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. You'll be calculating the magnification for a few different factors of your drawings just to get some practice. And I'll make another video going over how to calculate some of the other things.